Welcome to round 12 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head to head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week, and we will be forced to watch it repeatedly until we have one movie standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week's matchup is 1971's The Vampire Happening versus 2003's Jeepers Creepers 2. I'm Jared, and with me as always are my two cocks of the walk, Aaron and Josh. Fellas, happy belated Thanksgiving to you both.
Happy belated Thanksgiving to the two of you. And
Thanksgiving.
what a way to usher in the charm and the joy of the holiday season and this classic matchup we have today.
We've got a good one. And as you can see, Josh, me and Aaron are in person for this record. I wish you could be here. We're having a real big time this holiday. And
we've gone through at least 3 rolls of toilet paper amongst 5 people.
As I sit here, my stomach feels like an active volcano. With
you guys went out last night? Is that what happened?
We went. We had a big time on the town.
Which I feel fine and normal. So apparently, I am a garbage person that eats garbage food and drinks a lot and enjoys myself.
It's quite remarkable resiliency.
As I start my second Dr. Pepper of this recording.
I'm having water because I need to quelch this burning fire in my chest right now.
I've got myself a nice Bloody Mary.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Mine was good.
Yeah. Did you eat a lot? Turkey?
Did. Yep. It was quiet. Spent it with Cece and the folks, and just your typical Thanksgiving. We watched what NBC calls a parade. I fell asleep for a little bit during that.
Did you see any Wicked commercials?
I think that might be a popular movie.
Did you see any commercials for the film Wicked?
You could not pay me enough to sit through that fucking shit show of a film. I'm sorry.
Do you know this is part 1?
Yeah, Cece enlightened me.
Yes.
Because how long was the musical?
The first part of the movie,
we looked this up,
is already longer than the musical with the 15-minute intermission.
And the director says that the reason it's going to be 2 parts is because they couldn't do the story justice in one 2.5, 3-hour long movie.
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes is the runtime of the first part of Wicked.
Of a fucking Wizard of Oz musical.
And I said this earlier to Aaron that who's going to watch this movie that has the attention span? The kids don't why are movies so long? Nobody has the attention span to sit through these things and pay attention to them.
I'm glad we're talking about this because you know that this is going to be like the #1 movie in the world ever and gross more money than any movie ever. And it looks fucking terrible. They look like AI created characters. They don't even look like real people on screen. The special effects look like dog shit. I just don't understand where any allure to this thing is.
It looks worse than the Sam Raimi Wizard of Oz travesty.
Oh yeah,
Darkness remake.
Yeah, which was bad enough, but
it looks terrible.
Yeah, but it'll make a zillion dollars, and
Ariana Grande and her weird doe eyes. She just looks like an android. She doesn't look like a real person.
Maybe it is AI.
I think it is.
I just think we may not be the target audience for this movie.
They got to throw Goldblum in there to try to trick us and be like, oh, well, I want to see how Goldblum performs.
Oh, I bet he
Goldblums it up.
I bet he's the same thing he's done the last 10 years once he realized he was a caricature of himself.
True. And he also looks de-aged in the previews. It looks like they brought him down about 20, 30 years.
They definitely have CGI and make up people to the nth degree to try to make them look like an illustration, which I think is a choice. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate.
I'm not saying that it looks bad unintentionally. I'm just saying whatever they're going for looks fucking stupid.
Yes, don't get me wrong. it next to like all the political ads that have been on TV for the last 3 months, it's been wicked. It's just been just as bad on, and especially as a Comcast user, it is terrible how much is.
If
Did you know that the writer of The Wizard of Oz, he wrote like 17 books in that series?
wow,
Oh
I
yeah,
had no idea.
that's where Return to Oz came from, right? Like
I
they adapted
think so.
that.
I just watched
Yeah.
the other day Return to Oz. Not a fan.
And gun to the head of the podcast, I couldn't remember the name of the guy that wrote the books, even though there was a John Ritter movie about it growing up, TV movie.
Wow.
We're fans of that TV movies in this podcast, but I can't remember. Then it's not Frank, is it? What's the guy's name that wrote?
I almost said Frank Oz, but I know that's not right.
That's Miss Piggy.
Frank.
Frank Darabont.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, you could probably maybe tell we're stalling a little bit before we get into the first movie of our matchup, which is Jeepers Creepers 2. Oh, hold on, Aaron's got an update.
It is L. Frank Baum.
Oh, Frank Baum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that movie's not going to bomb. Oh, Frank.
L. Frank winner.
Jeepers Creepers 2. Let's just get into it, guys. Let's peel this Band-Aid. So this was released in 2003.
Dark time.
It was August 29th, 2003, written and directed by Victor Salva. This had a budget of $17 million. Did it eat the buckle at the box office? What do you think?
No, I think it tripled its box office.
Yeah, I'll say it covered. No problem.
It made 63 million. So this was a big hit. Starring Jonathan Breck, Ray Wise, Nikki Ako, Jeremiah Mutombiwa. Sorry, I butchered that, but did the best I could. And Eric Hennesser. This is a direct sequel to the Jeepers Creepers first movie. It takes place a few days after the first film and the final day of the Creepers' 23-day rampage. The Creeper attacks a bus carrying a bunch of college basketball students and 3 cheerleaders, and rendering it non-operational, and picks them off one by one while they're stranded on a country road in the middle of nowhere. It is the artistic vision of an actual convicted child molester, and we'll find out if it eat the buckle. I would say up front for the listeners, maybe this is going to be a bit of a dark discussion, but we will do our best handling the delicate nature of the conversation because, as mentioned, this was written and directed by Victor Salva, who is a child molester and
Convicted
and admitted. He a little background on it, just so you know what we're dealing with while we watch this movie to try to reconcile the enjoyment and taking the art from the artist and all that. He was convicted for molesting Nathan Forrest Winters on his movie The Clown House. At the time, Nathan was 12 years old. Victor Salva was 29, and filmed himself doing these things and was convicted and spent how much time in prison? Not enough.
Not enough.
15 months.
15 months of a 3-year sentence, I believe, is the thing. So yeah, it's a little dark knowing that that's the case, and there's other podcasts and news articles that have tackled this thing, and maybe we're not the people to have the deep dive conversation about it, but I think it's irresponsible if we at least don't mention it and talk a little bit about it before we get into the actual merits of the film itself. So we're here to give you that news.
Not to bum you out on the fun horror comedy podcast that we do. This is actually the most research I've done because I wanted to at least do the respect of what happened and not just be like, oh, hold on, let me look that shit up. No, it's like some terrible shit happen, industry shit happen, and probably continues to happen to this day. So it's not like it's an isolated incident, but we still have to make fun of Jeepers Creepers 2 somehow.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that we pay enough time and do our due diligence as our own little podcast here to make sure that we talk about this stuff up front.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say about it is just to show how deep the the bullshit runs in the with this ties to this movie is this was produced by Francis Ford Coppola, the legendary Hollywood director who produced the first movie that we mentioned, Clown House, where the actual molestation took place, and was basically a rape apologist, and continued to fund this man even after he served his prison sentence. So it's
get your quote out because everything else we have to say allegedly.
Yeah,
and he has the worst quote ever committed to the LA Times.
This is taken from LA Times. This was after Salva served his sentence. In
what year?
Jeez. I don't.
You're going to do your site.
I don't have the year.
You got to do MLA handbook.
He said, this is the quote. "You have to remember, while this was a tragedy, that the difference in age between Victor and the boy was very small. Victor was practically a child himself.
29 years old.
Victor Salva was 29 years old. And again,
he started grooming this kid when he was 6.
Nathan Forrest Winters was 12 years old when the filming of this incident took place, and Victor Salva was 29. And Francis Ford Coppola is saying the difference between them was very small. Continued to fund him, continued to go to bat for him, and allegedly there was a bunch of other really shady stuff going on where Coppola again allegedly tried to intimidate the family, saying they would be in breach of contract if they took legal action, and did some allegedly tried to buy out the lawyers and all kinds of stuff. So this is Francis Ford Coppola who produced this piece of shit that we're going to talk about. So
this art.
So just to know, it goes deeper than just one man doing a really disgusting thing, and so this is the people involved with this production that we'll now talk about. So what did you guys think of Jeepers Creepers 2? Let's start from the top rope.
I think that every 23rd year for 23 days, it gets to eat.
Yeah, let's get into that. The dumb shit lore behind this movie is that the creeper comes every 23rd spring, comes from wherever he lives. He comes to wreak havoc for 23 days to eat people,
while also being older possibly than humanity, and a GMAC certified mechanic to keep his love of his life, which actually I was amazed it wasn't in this movie.
It wasn't in this movie.
No. There was actually
Keepers didn't have his truck this time.
The Creeper Mobile was not involved in this production.
Apparently, for Jeepers Creepers purists, they were actually upset by this fact that the I'm serious. Whatever fans exist of this fucking film series were so upset by the fact that the van did not appear in the second one, that when Victor Salva and Francis Ford Coppola finally got around to making the third one, they like doubled down on the van, and the third one is basically all about the fucking van.
Yeah, like the van becomes almost sentient, right?
The van can do anything. It operates separately from the creeper, if I remember the third one correctly. But
so the movie, again, written and directed by a convicted sex offender who has a sex offender truck where he collects people, is not featured in this movie, but then becomes the Batmobile in later installments.
So these get worse, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
From the top of this movie, it was again, when I was talking about the dark time in cinema, like everything in this movie is like yellow dark hole sun style.
It looks terrible. The
It
film
really
quality
does.
is so terrible.
And I'll say, I mean, piece of shit aside, I actually did enjoy the first one. I mean, retroactively looking back on it now, I can't really look at it in a good light. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it looked cool, and like I didn't mind the creeper as, just a Hollywood monster. I thought he was kind of cool and had some really cool stuff in it. But this one just looks like shit.
This
so grainy and
epitome of money grab.
Yeah. And the creeper himself, I think in the first one, they don't really show him that much. It's very like sparingly. And when they do, it's kind of like darkly lit. So you're not actually getting a look at how fucking stupid he looks.
yeah.
But in this one, they're like, he's staring down the barrel, man. Like
He's mugging from
he's
multiple
like
times.
that scene where he's where he's like looking
In
through
the window.
through the kids in the bus, and he's like kind of flirting with like flirtily like pointing at which ones he wants.
Oh God,
And
that
he's
was
like,
so creepy.
you're looking at his face for like a good 2-3 minutes, just you know, really clearly, brightly shot, and he looks so stupid.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hated looking at him.
I just feel like the first movie, this movie, the whole franchise in the hands of any other person might have been handled a little bit better, and we'd probably be looking back on it differently. But like, I feel like this movie even has some really cool scenes to it, which I'll point out. But it's just overall is a shitty movie made by a shitty person, and, and there's more bad than good to it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
I would love to know what you thought was cool.
we'll get into it.
Yeah, we need to do our summary, don't we?
Does
Besides,
the
I did,
creeper
didn't I? What? Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
does the creeper have feet that can ravel madmans?
Oh,
He has some big feet.
Are they
He
human?
shows them off.
I don't
quite a
remember
bit.
seeing the feet. Are they like humanoid feet?
They are humanoid feet, but he has giant like eagle talons almost.
Oh,
Like
they're not overinflated like the Michelin Man's on Mars.
they could do it. Do an OnlyFans feet.
I thought the opening scene was kind of cool, with the kid out in the cornfields, even with how terrible it looked. I thought it was kind of a really cool scare when the creeper's up on the cross posing as one of the scarecrows, and suddenly you just see like his head like shift over and look at the kid. Like I thought that was a pretty cool little jump scare.
How
to
long
start
would
the
he
movie
have
out.
been there? How long would he have been there where they wouldn't realize that they're,
I think he actually just appears on there, and that's what makes the kid like do a double take.
okay.
Because the kid's putting up the crosses, and he puts up one, and then goes on to the next, and then he looks back, and all of a sudden there's a scarecrow up on it.
Creeper's doing a bit. He's got bits.
He's got bits.
Yeah.
He also has wings. Why did he ever need to have this fucking truck?
He just likes to cruise around and listen to the Doobie Brothers, man. That big truck.
Hey, guys, do you remember all those high school field trips on a bus where we take our shirts off and scream chants while driving down the highway?
I mean, I know you weren't in band, so yeah.
all you band kids raging with your shirts off.
My shirt never came off during band camp.
Also, Mr. Creeper. Wait, it's Jeepers Creeper.
I think it's
Jeepers Creepers.
I think
it's plural, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Creepers is a big fan of the movie Crawl from the early 80s because he loves those ninja stars.
Yeah, that was
which stops the bus at the beginning.
That was a new addition. They're like, we'll take away the Creeper mobile, but we'll give him these cool weapons,
I guess.
Yeah, these cool weapons to use.
Clearly made of plastic.
Plastic and Justin Long's tattooed belly button.
Well, the other one just had like a shitty looking plastic tooth glue, like hot glued right into the middle of it.
Yeah. Those were dumb. What?
Mountain Girl is the bus driver.
Mountain Girl. Yeah.
I was happy
you
to
were
see her.
You were right about that. Yeah. Why do they keep chanting cock of the walk? And what was with asses and elbows? What does that mean?
That's like running. You should be nothing.
Oh, is that? I've never heard that in my life.
Well, I
Is
always
that
thought it was.
like a known
I
refrain?
always thought it was feet,
Because
feet and elbows, or elbows and.
it's just something they said over and over. Like, all right, guys, asses and elbows, asses and elbows. Like, is that something that should be known to me? Because it's not.
Well, I guess you never did
Was that a
track.
band camp
You
thing?
never did track, did you?
No.
Never did track. I never did band camp.
Oh man, what was my high school without those experiences?
Uh, you didn't have one. You sat in your bed.
I guess not.
When the blonde cheerleader, the one of 3 cheerleaders that exists in the school, apparently.
Yeah, I had that note.
Yep.
Let's talk about that first. So were the rest of the cheerleaders put onto another bus, or does the school really only have 3 cheerleaders to go cheer on a basketball team?
Well, I mean, a, a cheerleading squad is normally like at minimum 7 to 9 people.
Sounds right. Sure. We'll go with that.
And you would think this was basketball. They just won the state championship, in which you never see the actual trophy anywhere on the bus, if I'm correct. You would think there would have been at least 2 buses worth of people involved.
You would think that with the 3 women on a bus full of high school boys, they'd have a chaperone that was also a female.
There were,
Victor Salva's world.
Where were the helpers?
In Victor Salva's world, the women are safe.
Did you like? There was. It could. Yeah, the concept of this as a horror movie could have been cool. Like just mostly taking place on a bus where the kids are just kind of getting picked off one by one by the monster. I mean, there's really nothing to deep dive into it. That is the plot of the movie. It's just watching these kids on the struggle bus, and they don't really go anywhere else. There is the dad from the beginning, played by what's his name, Aaron? I know you know it.
Ray Wise.
Leland. Yeah.
You were going to say Leland,
I was going to say Leland. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ray Wise. We love you in RoboCop and other things, but you will always be Leland.
And there's like kind of the side plot of the creeper, as Josh mentioned, the beginning bit where with the scarecrows, the creeper takes his son, and so he kind of becomes like the Van Helsing hunting down the creeper.
I did look this up from all of our convicted sex offender research.
Yeah,
that he actually was like, I wanted it to be like Queequeg and Captain Ahab. He really said he wanted to make a Moby Dick movie.
He failed.
I mean, he rips off Jaws basically, more than he ripped off Which Again. Then he went straight back to Melville, but I digress.
Do you think, and I don't say this jokingly at all, but like, does he have to, as a working director, like, let these people know that he's a sex offender?
Yes.
And like, then people are still cool with it.
Powder.
Yeah.
Which, again, there are people on there that were like, and I'm not going to name names of actors that were like, this one woman said he did his time of 15 months.
Yeah, he groomed that kid longer than he did time in prison.
They actually, when they made the 3rd one, they shot it in Canada, and like I didn't look this up again to refresh my memory, but something I remember reading news stories at the time where like the Canadians living around the area they were filming found out about it and became like a huge deal because they're like, what the hell? They didn't, because I guess in Canada you don't have to go around and tell people that. So.
Yeah, that's wild. But anyway, sorry, that was a digression.
I mean, at this point, you can do a background check by just typing anyone's name into the internet. Like around the Powder time, yeah, I could see it would be a little bit harder because it wasn't like everyone was getting onto news forums or an AOL chats being like, hey, and then because it was that Nathan's family was the only ones that were like picketing, being like, this Disney is in bed with a convicted sex offender, and that's when all the actors were like, oh no, he came on set. But the way you read it, because we again talk about all the background studying up on this, where it was just like you read the LA Times and it's like, well, did he do it or did it become such a thing that he finally had to come out and say, and of course it's all like anonymous executive producers or whoever it's going, oh no, we had a conversation about it. And then of course, let me back the truck of money up to your doorstep. And then name actors are saying, oh yeah, no, he did his time. So everyone deserves a second chance.
Fucking
Everyone deserves a second chance, but then you see the stuff he puts up, especially like in this one, in multiple movies with shirtless children, belly button infatuations. I mean, we always make a joke about Tarantino feet thing.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's not a convicted sex offender.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference. Like, if you want, I don't know. Anyway,
there's a difference between someone who has a kink or a fetish,
right?
And there's in somebody who is a disgusting, manipulative sack of fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a delicate dance to have trying to discuss.
In my 44 years, I've never once in broad daylight stood in the middle of the field and pissed with 5 or 6 other guys.
No.
Shoulder to shoulder.
No.
And then had a teammate that had to jerk off because he was anxious in broad daylight in the middle of a field.
Well, you've never been on a championship winning basketball team, bro.
I guess that's the difference between the band bus and
that's how
you've never been to a state photography competition then.
That's how you bond. That's what makes the winners from the losers, buddy.
And so, Justin Long got his paycheck too. He came back.
I was gonna say that had to have been like a second unit director doing the 2 seconds of Justin Long coming out of the cornfield and screaming, because I can't imagine coming back.
It was written that he would come back just as a naked body in the field. They wanted him to do full frontal.
Oh boy.
Instead, he just came back and moved his lips faster than the camera could pick up.
I was swindled when I went to watch this. I forget what streaming service I had watched it on, but the thumbnail for it was the main girl, who we can get into her clairvoyancy in a second. But it was the main girl and Justin Long like standing together, and he had his arm around her, and I was like, oh shit, Justin Long must somehow come back in this and play a part.
And he does.
He does, but like that thumbnail never happened.
In the form of a belly button.
That was with a really cool tattoo of a rose.
Is that a rose?
Yeah, it's pretty prominent in the first one. Oh. He tears his shirt and they keep showing it.
In the sequel, it looked like some kind of crustacean. I thought it was a shrimp or a mollusk of some kind.
I like that they just assumed that like, oh, everyone will remember Justin Long's tattoo when we show it on this the ninja star.
Victor Salva remembered.
But yeah, can we talk about how what a shitty like plot device just to have this one of the cheerleaders just somehow
have the shining.
Yeah, all of a sudden just knows everything about the creeper and the lore and how and just could be like, no, he's on his 22nd day. This is his last day. Like,
so lucky that in this small school with only 3 cheerleaders, 33% of the cheerleading squad has the shining. Yes.
Within her first dream that she has, where the creepers is running alongside the bus, it's one of my favorite scenes because it just speaks to how shitty the special effects budget was. You see the creeper's face as he like runs by the camera. If they didn't even bother putting him into makeup, it looks like he literally just has like a brown pillowcase draped over his face, and you just see like the edges of the pillowcase flapping over his cheeks as the actor runs by. It's the worst. It looks like
he has like bologna just hanging off his face, like cold cuts.
It's so stupid.
Roast beef.
The one thing I will give this movie is that first death where Mr. Creepers goes and steals the coach from the front of the bus when they're outside.
Yeah, that's a cool little scene.
Like, oh wow, that was wasn't expecting that. Like you know, they're being hunted, but you weren't expecting him to just go straight up in the air, and then the flare drop was a nice
Oh,
touch.
every
Yeah.
time he flew into
So
the air to like the painted matte sky,
The CGI
just
cosmos.
so shitty looking.
right. And see, I
So
guess that's to my point earlier. Like that kill was cool. You see the coach fly up in the air, the flare drops, cool scene, and then he goes to the well over and over again with the creeper just lifting people into the air, and like Jared said, flying through that shitty blue screen sky. It just
I don't
looks
even think it was blue
terrible.
screen. It seriously looked like a matte painting that they just like threw a fucking toy at.
Does Southern California look just like Northern Florida? I don't think I've ever driven through Northern Florida. So I was like, this is clearly California.
Yeah.
And then it's clearly on a soundstage at parts with the bus,
Mm-hmm.
with the CGI uh super scope of the cosmos, where again it's so dark that you can see 10 million stars, but you don't see any part of the Milky Way or make it look cool. It just looks like the old Windows screensaver,
Yeah.
frozen. And then again, it just looks like you're in the middle of California.
Um,
The-
can we talk about the real villain in the movie, Scotty, the beady-eyed douchebag?
Yeah.
Scott,
I just wanted to punch his narrow-eyed face into mud. It's just he was annoying to look at. He was a bad actor, and he, I hate I hate where every horror movie has to try to make the whole like, well, really, human beings are the true evil, and like he has to turn on the rest of them and be
Yeah.
the douche. I hate that shit. I get so tired of it.
I loved how the bus so Creeper throws one of his uh Justin Long belly button ninja stars and at the threads a tire on the bus so it can't they're stuck. And they're seemingly stuck on this bus for hours at that point, calling for help, trying to get help. And then the bus driver is just like, "Oh, actually, I can drive this thing. It's got
Yeah.
got 7 other wheels on the ground. We could actually get out of here." What?
well,
Yeah.
she was going through her flow chart of emergencies, and it hadn't gotten to the
Oh yeah, she was taking her sweet
pressure
time.
point.
To the continue driving the bus step.
And after the Mr. Creepers shows up and does all of his licking and everything, I'm pretty sure it's after. Well, he may not even lick the bus yet, but it has a close up of something wet and slimy of Mr. Creepers, and it just I looked at my wife and I was like, was that its butthole? What did we just see? Like listening in the sky.
That's awesome.
Like it was full screen, extreme close up
Yeah.
of something
Shit.
that looked like an orifice that was secreting things, and again, uncomfortable making
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling seen. That I we just didn't have an answer.
Mm.
Maybe, and then later on, it was like his nose had
His nose has a nose in it.
So I was like,
a lot of sniffing.
Maybe that was it, but
Nothing makes sense about his anatomy.
no.
There's too much sniffing for my liking going on.
There's a scene where it shows him from the back and his wings pop out, but he's wearing his jacket. It's like, where do the wings come from? They don't come out through the holes in the jacket. They don't come out from his back. Where do these fucking wings come from?
He's got Doc Ock holes in his trench coat.
Yeah, he customized that.
I don't think so.
Tailored
I don't buy it.
Tailored wing holes, wing slots.
But they aren't visible any other time. They just appear.
I was wondering maybe he had Sherpa underneath that duster.
You know what? I bought a nice Sherpa sweatshirt yesterday.
If this is
Black
your
Friday.
this is your first hearing of Eat the Buckle, we are a very pro Sherpa podcast.
Yeah.
In all shapes.
I actually meant to wear it, but it's still out in the car.
Why do buses come equipped with track and field javelins?
Yeah. And why did they only use it once, even though it was very effective?
where it ripped the side of Creeper's face off.
Yeah.
Well, he decided to do that.
Yeah.
That he just grew another face of
They were
their young
very,
friend.
very effective. They had like a whole box of them.
When he takes
they forgot about him.
When he eats, I guess maybe cuts that guy's head off.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see what happened to it. Now we know the way.
Wait a minute, hold up. Hold that thought 1 second. Do you mean the guy that he grabs and then somehow is able to suck his jacket and shirt right off his body along with his head?
Yes. Which I understand.
Leaving a headless, muscle-bound corpse throwing air punches.
I understand the why because of who wrote and direct,
Mm-hmm.
but the logistics of that don't really work with the skill set we've seen with Mr. Creeper. So that's my issue. Once he gets that head, how does the physiology work? Like, does he have to put it up his? It seems like he puts it up his butt, and then from his stomach, a new head pops up like a rose out of a garden.
Maybe that's what that leaky orifice was you were talking about earlier.
Maybe.
I didn't do a timestamp on the leaky orifice, so I don't know. But you never see Creeper eat anyone.
No, that's true.
You never and he will sometimes
don't know what he does with he
pop an eye in his mouth.
Yeah,
but you never see him. I mean, if he has a giant half a face.
Well, in the first one, he just like skins people. He skins,
which again, you never would have had the movie. Like,
yeah,
here is this older than time eldritch horror driving his truck, his GMC panel van. And instead of stopping to just randomly murder two people just for the fun of it, he runs them off the road and goes about his business because he needs a new timing belt for his truck.
he likes their fear. Actually, he's basically just a Pennywise ripoff. He comes.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about the couple that was on their way to call the police?
I was going background on the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a Pennywise ripoff. Pennywise comes like every 30 years. He has to, because Creeper comes every 23 years. They like to scare the people before they kill them because they like the taste of their. It's Pennywise. Only shitty.
Not good. Yeah.
And
so to allude to the couple that does get taken from their cars in this one, I thought that was one of the cooler moments where you don't see them die, but you see their car and the hood or the top of it's peeled back like a can of sardines. I thought that was a cool little kind of funny thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's just these small moments in a movie that's just a complete fucking muck fest. Shall we take a quick break?
Take a quick break. Well, it seems like you might have a little bit more cool stuff you want to run through. Then we'll.
No, not much. We're about done.
At the tone, it will be 12 midnight. This is Radio Transylvania. A late bulletin. The local blood bank is low. Would all donors report to the clinic of Dr. Franklin Stein? Now, our music continues as we hear Full Moon and Empty Veils.
Okay, I think one big thing I would like to talk about, and I know we're all itching for this discussion, is the truck that Leland assembles to go after the Creeper. He puts like a what would you call it? Like a
he has
an apparatus.
He has a pneumatic for hammering down fence posts. That is
right.
It's table set.
Chekhov's post digger,
post punch at the beginning, and then he comes back in the land going orca, strapped in like Quint, and he's developed a harpoon out of what they decided was a mythical piece of the Creeper with his blade at the tippy top.
Yeah. So at one point, he comes in to save the day. The kids on the bus contact him by CB and they tell him where they're at. So he comes to save the day. And eventually what happens is the truck he has like a rope, like an industrial like car, like
he's got a cable.
Yeah, like a
with a
car
winch.
towing cable attached to this arrow that he made, and he shoots the creeper with it, and the creeper's like flying around, and eventually flips the truck over. The catapult or the apparatus goes smashes. You see it actually being destroyed.
You see a stunt actor almost die from that truck flipping.
Yeah, yeah, and the car gets totaled. The fucking thing, the apparatus gets destroyed, and then 15 minutes later, it's he does the same thing. He comes in to save the day at the last second. The truck is completely fine. The apparatus is back, completely assembled
You see the cab of
and
the truck
functional.
smashed under the weight of the chassis of the truck. You realize there are at this point on the bus 2 injured kids and one of the cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
There's Leland's son in the movie, and Leland, who you would think is kind of injured, slipping off the back of that truck the way that he had to.
There's no way he survived that.
How in the hell did those 5 or 6 people flip a half-ton pickup and then have it still be roadworthy enough to drive 5 miles down the road or into the woods?
They had to rebuild that harpoon mechanism.
With the harpoon mechanism, which was crushed under the weight of the rest of the vehicle.
It must have been made of Legos. They just reassembled it real quick and went on their way.
What I said, I thought it looked like it was a Lego set cracking apart.
And then I counted the stabs. Once they finally get to Leland, I'm pretty sure from my count it is 34 times that Ray Wise stabs Jeepers in the face, in the chest, in the crotch. 34 times, I believe.
Wow.
That was probably the most satisfying moment of this movie because it's almost like a personal victory. You're like, it's almost fucking over.
Yeah.
Catharsis.
You think it's a cathartic moment, and then it time travels 23 years into the future.
Yeah, well, the creeper's like little weird mandibles just kind of enclose his face.
Why does he have the life force?
I don't know.
Foreskin around his head.
Again, his anatomy makes zero sense.
But they think he's dead, and then in a last demonstration of her clairvoyancy, the young cheerleader says, "No, it's just his last day," because she knows everything about the creeper, and it's so we as the viewers know that his 23rd day is now over, and I guess that's how he retreats, is in his little foreskin cocoon.
The epilogue on this movie is a Hallmark movie.
The epilogue on this movie is supposed to make us think it's 23 years later, and it looks the kids have the same clothes, same haircut. They come in
an even older truck than what Ray Wise was driving around.
Yeah.
They make Jack Jr. into just central casting Hallmark abusive husband character actor. And then they put Ray Wise in California raisin makeup. And for 22 years, 12 months, and approximately 21 days, I think is the math, the way that works out, he has sat next to the reconstituted harpoon gun pointed at Mr. Jeepers,
mounted on
the wall as the bat from hell.
And he has a roadside attraction, like luring people to see that. Wouldn't you want to keep people away from the creeper? But and also, one last shot at a shirtless child that comes and looks at the
one of the people,
of course. So
not on their hoverboard 2015 style, just driving a 1949 GMC truck as well. I don't know. But
when you look up reviews for this movie, you will find critics, loosely quotationed critics, praising Ray Wise for this performance. And man, I swear, for probably half the runtime of this movie, all he's doing is screaming his son's name and saying, "Turn away from the van," or whatever, or "turn away from the bus," or whatever he keeps shouting over and over again.
Yeah, because when he's doing all that stabbing, it's just like Rambo First Blood style, falling off the mountainside. That's
And
all. That's about all he got to do.
I mean, I guess when you compare his performance to the rest of the people in the movie, sure, he's the best you got. But like, how could anybody watch this and be like, you know what, that Ray Wise handed it a stellar performance this time around?
I mean, comparatively to what else was going on in that cast, he did all right.
That's all I got for this movie.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie, a terrible creature, and a terrible franchise.
Yeah, fuck this movie.
And a terrible director.
And just a
Just a real piece of pig shit.
a bunch of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like second film.
Well, before we get into the second film, do you guys want to lighten the mood a little bit and play a little game?
Reset the table.
I'd love to.
All right, let's play a game. This is called What the Critics Are Slaying.
No.
What the critics are slaying.
Okay.
I'm going to reach. I scoured the internet and I've culled 9 user reviews of movies that we've done that I guess we're calling it a season. This, I don't know if we're technically in the second season, but user reviews taken from eBay. I'm going to read you the review and you're going to try to guess which movie they're talking about.
Okay, these are only from pre-Mad Men or all together
so the
far?
movies covered in this will be Jeepers Creepers 2, Demonic Toys, Vampire Happening, Cheerleader Camp, The Gate.
Okay.
Remember
Okay.
those?
I'm not going to remember those.
I just looked this and saw Cheerleader Camp, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I forgot that movie even existed." Whew. So I guess you don't have to. Well, you can just each guess, and if you're right, you'll get a point.
Yeah.
And I need something to keep score.
We only have 1,000 different screens
hang
in
on.
front of us. Where's a piece of paper?
Piece of pizza pie.
So we're taking turns here.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it would just be you and me saying which one we think it is.
Yeah, you'll both get to guess for
and
each
then,
one.
and then he'll let us know.
Yeah. So the first one. This is from 19. Oh, I won't tell you the year.
You can't tell the year. That'll
okay.
give it away.
Good question mark is the title of the review. How could anyone title this movie as good? It was awful, boring, unoriginal, bad acting, bad effects, bad script, poor excuses to show blank without blank, and overall sucky. I can't tell you those words or it'll give it away.
Now, how many movies repeat? Like once I use it, is it done?
No.
So there
Jeepers Creepers 2.
These could all be Demonic Toys or
They could, but they're not.
okay.
Each one is represented.
Let's say The Gate.
It was Cheerleader Camp.
Oh, what
What
was
was
the
blank
blank
and
and
blue?
blank?
Girls without tops. Like
Without showing what?
boobies. Cheerleader.
Showing girls without tops.
The next one. 5 out of 10 stars. Title. It's creepy and it's spooky. It's altogether ooky. Here it is. You get to this is verbatim. You get to see them do dump things like kid bits. No one stays in the car. It is even worth watching again. Afterward, be sure to look under the bed.
Jeepers Creepers 2.
What?
You get to see them do dump things and kid bits. No one stays in the car. It is even worth watching again. You say Jeepers Creepers?
I think that has to be Jeepers Creepers Dose.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers 2.
Movies with dump things.
That was a review from 2024 for the film The Gate.
What?
No one's. You get to see them do kid bits.
No one stays in the car. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I mean, there was one.
One person found it helpful. All right. 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
God damn it.
This one. This is the title. Sweet. My friend and I saw this movie in like 96, I think, and back then we thought it was the coolest movie. It is a must see for all those girls who want to be blank and are just getting into horror movies. We keep trying to find other movie stores, but it seems as if it has been taken off the shelves in the stores of my hometown. So this person thinks this movie was only taken off the shelves in the store in his hometown.
Vampire Happening.
The girls who want to be blank. Yeah, let's go Vampire Happening.
That was also cheerleader count.
Oh, damn.
Girls who want to be cheerleaders.
Oh, wow.
Not to cheerlead is that movie.
Okay.
Or
This title is absolute garbage.
Mm.
Is the title. There is nothing, absolutely nothing going for this movie unless you happen to like smutty double entendre and toilet humor, nasty stereotypes, the abysmal acting and writing, and inescapable sense that the film was designed for infantile-minded teenage boys.
Demonic Toys.
The Gate.
That was The Vampire Happening.
God damn it.
I mean, truly, that is a two-time Oscar award winner that you're talking about.
Hang on. This one, 1 out of 10. Laughable, awful, and that's meant literally is the title. Why is he doing this? Just because? Well, in that case, I guess I'll be kidnapping small girls now because I can. I wish someone would explain. I wish someone would explain to me how this is scary or exciting. Everything's predictable, so much so that it was funny. 1 out of 10. P.S. Please note that I do not kidnap small children, nor do I condone doing so.
Never or ever think about it.
Methinks he doth protest too.
Even though they could.
Woo. I'm going back to Jeepers Creepers too.
I think that's probably Jeepers Creepers too.
Correct. You both got a point.
Hey.
Just a few more here. 1 out of 10. You call this horror is the title. Here's the review. You call this horror. This movie sucks. You know why? Because you stink like garbage. That's just my line I say to my friends. Anyway, this movie sucks because the movie itself and the graphics are way too cheesy.
The graphics.
You stink like garbage.
Let's read that one more time.
You call this horror. This movie sucks. You know why? Because you stink like garbage. That's just my line I say to my friends. Anyway, this movie sucks because the movie itself and graphics are way too cheesy.
They had to go all their way to be like, that's just something I say to my friends.
Uh-huh.
This might be we might need to adopt that as the mission statement for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Because you stink like garbage. What do you think?
The Gate.
Demonic Toys.
It was The Gate.
Oh,
Josh Airhead gets
that is a pretty spot on review of The Gate.
had bad
I must say.
It did have bad graphics.
It did. Okay, here we go. There's 3 more.
And this is called what now?
What the critics are slaying.
Okay. Just want to remind everyone.
10 out of 10 stars. A great horror film. Here's the review. You will great scared. This a very scary movie. See this movie. It is a great movie. It is very scary. This is a scary than Nightmare on Elm Street, and that is not easy to do. This is a true horror classic.
Demonic.
You will great scared.
Demonic Toys.
Mm.
And this is what AI is being trained on, by the way.
Right.
Are these reviews?
We're all fucked. This is a very scary movie. See this movie. It is a great movie. It is very scary. This is scary. A Nightmare on Elm Street. What do you think, Josh? Aaron says
gosh.
Demonic Toys.
Jeepers Creepers too.
Demonic Toys.
Oh fuck! Who says Demonic Toys is scary?
Someone who says
Somebody
you
who
will
says
great scared. Last one, I believe.
Charles Band's son.
Okay.
Don't give him ideas. He might make a T-shirt out of that.
Here we go. I was aware from the start of the difficulties in shooting a horror parody. I really believed that I was working with normal people in the movie industry, and I thought I could have made a decent film. With time, I became aware that the producer was an imbecile who treated the project like a horror movie. I'm sorry, a home movie. He wanted to do the casting, make cameos in the film, and wanted his wife as an actress. It was a disaster, which I can't say anything serious about.
Fire happening.
Yes, I had to recluse myself from this because right now on my phone, because I have a note
that note.
to relate to this from the Hammer Horror Wiki, where Freddie Francis said those things about those people.
That is correct. That is Fred Francis's movie, review of his own movie, The Vampire Happening. And Josh, you guessed it correct. That's the last. Aaron wins 3-2. What the critics are slaying.
Now wait a minute. I got a cry foul here.
What?
Producer? What the name?
Anytime Aaron has been behind me in points, you've made the last question
last
worth
one
like
was worth
5 points.
That last one was worth 4 points. Josh, you win the game.
No.
You
No,
you are
don't
correct.
placate me now.
I
You're
didn't
correct.
win.
Don't placate me.
I didn't. I said I don't get a point for that last round.
You already had 3, but that's okay because that one was worth 4.
Nope.
That's what the
Aaron wins again.
playing. I've rest my case. Case over.
If any associate
Critics are slaying.
if any associate producers are listening to this episode, make a note here to start thinking about merch ideas where we have a Aaron/Josh win-loss record.
Yep. And the names of all these stupid fucking games. Well, that's a good segue into our next movie that
Made
the
by
director
imbeciles
himself says was made by imbeciles
for
and
their girlfriends.
yep, seemingly wants nothing to do with. And neither do I at this point, to be quite honest. How's y'all's second viewing of Vampire Happening?
I put this off at the last possible minute. I watched it at like 6:30 this morning. And the moment the cold open is over and she signs her autograph and the credits begin, it's like, oh god, not this again. And then when the credits end and you get that terrible it's like, oh no, I had to spend the next 2 hours of my life watching this.
I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I hope this doesn't go against everything we stand for on this show. I did watch this at 1.5 speed on YouTube. I watched it fully from start to begin. Actually, I started at 1.25, and I thought to myself, "This is taking too fucking long." So I went 1.5, and it shaves a good 20 minutes off of this.
I would
This
imagine.
hell. So yeah, don't hate me. Don't kick me off the show. But
I thought we were gonna record before Thanksgiving, and then life got in the way. That happens. So I had realized the Saturday before Thanksgiving, we were having lazy Saturday, and I was like to my wife, "Do you want to watch a movie?" She said, "Sure, put anything on." And a good farting around the house on the weekend movie is There Will Be Blood. So I watched
just real lighthearted
3 hours almost of There Will Be Blood, and about 2 hours into it, I went, "Oh shit, I haven't watched either of these movies yet." And again, There Will Be Blood is not a soft popcorn flick. It is a very brutal movie, a very good movie. So the antithesis of what we normally watch. And I looked at my wife and I was like, "I'm going to quit because I cannot watch 4 hours of that horse shit after 3 hours almost of this wonderful movie in one day."
Yep.
So when the recording got pushed out of the weekend, I was like, "Thank God," because it just is it's relaxing and enjoyable when movies are good. I don't know how many people out there realize that that you don't have to just keep watching terrible movies. We do because it's part of the podcast.
It's a real sacrifice we make.
But yes, for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I realized when I started this movie up that I've turned a corner here, guys, and I no longer trust you. Don't. I believe this is all designed to ruin me, and it's working.
But you would wear one of those muzzy vampires on a t-shirt, right?
Yeah,
I would love a vampire happening merch.
from like the
Or they only buy it at
animation in
night.
the beginning. Yeah.
What is her hang up with the gay man at the beginning of this movie? Is it because he gets into a car with
Yeah,
the handsome gay man?
He gets the cab before he like cuts her off for the cab.
And is that the reason
Oh,
that he
no,
continues to show up in her dreams?
Oh, I think she has a real big hang up, even though she's supposedly so open-minded.
So free with sex.
So yeah, that she doesn't like gay people.
Oh, you think it's
Oh.
and
Yeah.
she's just fantasizing about killing him or torturing him.
Apparently, because
Oh,
what's the matter? Don't you like the taste of breasts?
yeah. Huh. I guess I didn't put that. I guess I didn't really think too deeply. I thought,
Oh.
doesn't someone cut her off to get in the cab and then she
No,
thinks
that's,
Yeah, he does.
no, that's the flight attendant meeting his partner.
Yeah, but he comes. She. Well, no. So doesn't cut her off. She comes out of the airport,
He
and
waved.
the guy waves, and she thinks it's for her, and she smiles, and then the gay guy comes from behind her, and they hug and get in the car or whatever. And
maybe a
'Cause-
subtle nuance missed when watching it in 1.5 speed.
Yeah, because she's loading up her own Mercedes that she drives.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
She's
you're right.
not Betsy or is it Betty or Betty?
Betty.
Betty's not loading it up. There's like a whole
Oh,
NASCAR pit crew working on this Mercedes to get her ready to go for the segment
up the mountain.
up
okay.
the mountain.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So then, yeah, she must just be a homophobic.
This is
lady.
This is week 2,
Mhm.
right? Of
Yep.
the vampire happening.
Yeah.
Already I'm learning new things, like what a Neapolitan dancer actually is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know that part about Claremonde being a Neapolitan dancer.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to take a shot in the dark about what a Neapolitan dancer does?
I'm assuming it has nothing to do with delicious chocolate, vanilla, and cherry ice cream.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd assume it's some sort of erotic
You would think
dance.
with the way that this movie is lined up.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you think erotic dancing, you know, there's only one name in the game. It's La Bamba, obviously.
Sure.
But no, it is a tarantella in which people use castanets.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
I'd like to thank the official Visit Naples website. Because again, I was like, what kind of steamy shit is going down
Yeah.
and for this Neapolitan stuff?
She's
Dancing. And it's
clacking
just
castanets.
flicking castanets and shaking your hips.
So she's
Is it like naked castanet dancing or just
No,
Hmm.
just
So-
dancing with castanets.
be a lot cooler if it were?
I mean, maybe after this movie, someone down there in Naples was like, "Oh, you know what we need to do? Take our tops off, just switch out wigs, and really use stereotypical gay voices for quote unquote the help."
Would you guys listen to that vampire radio if it existed? They'd like turn on the radio. It's like, this is the Transylvania radio.
I would only listen to the DJ.
The next song is Full Moon and Empty Veins.
And by Frank Stein, I believe.
Does it say that?
I think so. I do have that
Yeah.
that sound clip pulled already.
Oh, hell yeah.
In my production.
Hell yeah.
So it will probably be, you've already heard it if you're listening to this podcast.
I would listen to that. But just novelty horror songs. You know, the Monster Mash is on heavy rotation. Or did this predate? When?
Oh, this would have been after the Monster Mash.
Okay.
Second week, still loving the trees having sex.
Yeah. I still got a laugh out of that.
With listeners, Josh just shook his head and his eyes rolled out of his body onto the floor on our screen. Because when
Josh is standing up and walking away right now.
When prototypical Richard Kind goes out and sees all the moss and trees doing real bad splits and
Yeah.
lips with wood that looks like sexual organs. Boy, that just brings a tear to my eye. I don't know how fast it went by at 5 times, Jared, but still a
I
great.
slowed that part down because it
Okay.
made me laugh. I actually watched it in 0.5 speed
It's
so
still
I could
just
get more enjoyment out of it.
good. I'm glad because it is a hearty 90 seconds of cinema
Yeah,
with
love
the
it.
with the cinematography of a 2-time Oscar
I
winner.
love it. I guess I'll just kind of go through my notes and unless you guys wanted to break it down more detailed.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, I also, well, you go ahead, and I don't want to, because I love Empire happening so much, and it's,
yeah, I want you to make sure you
I don't want
you
to,
get to reflect that in your
yeah, I
conversation.
don't want to make it a solo Aaron corner. I would much, but I do have to lighten the mood. I have some dark stories to talk about.
Oh, great. Yeah, well, let me just
production.
rattle off mine real quick. If you'll indulge me. The so Joseph, why doesn't he just kill her long ago? He lives in the house with Delamonte and
Claremonde.
Del Monte. And he's clearly concerned about her being awakened and prowling. Why doesn't he do this long ago? Just open her up and stab her.
Because he's too busy throwing himself up against walls with his lip quivering like a sad old Italian woman. While he says,
I still love Joseph.
Because it hasn't been the 23rd day of the 23rd month
Yes.
of the 23rd year.
She's on
the
creeper.
23rd second.
She's on creeper time.
She might be.
There's a part where Martin, the horny young priest and monk in training, where he gets bit and he's dead, and they remove his body, and he's like, and what are those called? Those like construction with the big shovel.
Yeah, they just dump his body
They
with a
dump
front
his
loader.
body, but he looks like he's dead. Like it's the most convincing dead body I've ever seen played.
I think it was a real person.
Yeah, I know. He looks like it's crazy. I rewound it a couple times.
they didn't have the money to actually make a fake body. So they just found a recently deceased person.
Yeah, I think they did.
Beat the rigor mortis out of him and dumped him.
When beat the rigor mortis. When Rosemary, when Dracula lands in his helicopter and Rosemary comes up to him and she says something. He's like, your teeth are growing in or something. And she goes, it's my permanent set, Dracula. About so Rosemary,
Dracula.
Yeah, so she's
as if it was Tony Danza.
Uh-huh.
The little girl is voiced by Tony Danza.
Whoa, hey, Dracula.
And I laughed. This is my last one. I laughed real hard when Dracula is eating the banana and he just bites it with his little fang. He just kind of like scrapes it across his fang.
You saw that in 5 times speed, huh?
Yeah.
Or did you slow that part
I
down?
was well, that was the orgy scene. I put that on regular time.
Oh god.
For the boys.
Once you get to the vampire happening and Martin is basically like having Rumspringer because obviously he lived a closeted life.
Yeah.
In the church.
Uh-huh.
I absolutely can't stand any of the hijinks with Martin.
Yeah, he's
no, don't get me started on Martin again.
Martin at the end of that movie adds probably 25 minutes to the runtime of just like, it's not ad-libbing because it's a dubbed movie, but Freddie Francis was just like, you know what, kid, run with it. Just go enjoy like you've never seen breasts before.
He clearly had given up directing anything at that point.
Yeah, as I said last time, dude, what doubles down and makes it extra terrible is not only did the actor think that this whole fucking thing was all for him, but whoever did his overdubbed voice thought the same goddamn thing.
Oh,
It's terrible.
I
Martin was not the main character.
no, I forgot to mention I watched the Tales from the Crypt Freddy Francis episode that we talked about.
I bet it looks
that he
good.
directed. It was great. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
This
I'm sure Freddy wishes his name was not at the beginning of A Vampire Happening.
from that credited quote to him from the Hammer Horror Wiki, I would say that's
Yeah,
100%.
Was this an official Hammer horror film?
No, I think it was on
I
there.
think so.
Well, let me.
Oh, while you're looking that up, I did go back just to be sure. He did win an Oscar for best cinematography, but it was back when they had black and white category and colored category. So he had one for best cinematography in a black and white movie. So we'll put an asterisk on that.
That doesn't.
Mm.
No,
Wait, didn't he get nominated for more?
no, he won for Glory as well.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, the man did Cape Fear, so hands down, he's
yeah,
a great
I'm just getting all the details out on this.
cinematographer.
I don't know why you have to start coming up with this asterisk shit on my friend Fred Francis.
Freddy clearly doesn't know how to keep order on a movie set,
No,
as evident in this movie. I will say this time around, guys, I can recognize where the fun is in this movie.
Mm.
The vampire hijinks that happen during the happening is probably the most enjoyable part, minus Martin's 20 minutes of bullshit.
well, that's
Um,
because the second time. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Go ahead, finish.
I just don't. It's just an unwatchable fucking mess.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny you say that because the second time around I absolutely hated this. The novelty of it, like having some funny stuff.
You hit
and
your wall.
yeah,
with
like the first
1971 breasts.
yeah, the first time like the humor was like unexpected. I was like, oh, okay, that's better than I thought it was gonna be. This time around, other than the banana on the fang. uh
In the trees.
it was
The trees.
it was a miserable watch.
The Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, the
Cocktail.
novelty of the beautiful naked women had worn off, and it was just a really really miserable thing to watch. I hated
Well,
every
and here's the thing. I am a red-blooded male. I will not back down from, admitting that I like to see naked women, but we live in a world where we're 2 clicks away from that on the internet. And
Now.
you don't have to put up with 2 hours of garbage to see it.
Yeah,
So, like,
but
I can no longer be like, oh, well, that movie was good because it had a lot of breasts in it. It doesn't make it a good movie.
Nope.
no,
And it never did.
I'm definitely not saying that's what made it. I'm not even saying I thought it was a good
Well,
movie.
that's kind of what you were saying last week.
My thought was the only thing that this had over Demonic Toys, because they were both shitty movies, was gorgeous women naked. Which, yes, sorry for being chauvinistic, but that factually that is the only thing that this movie had
Let's
over Demonic Toys.
let's talk about the star of this movie, who is quite naked in this movie.
Yeah, let's bring it back down.
Pia Dergermark. Is that how you heard it pronounced? Her last name?
I don't think I ever heard it pronounced.
Degermark?
We'll go with it.
We'll go with that.
apologies.
After I got done doing all my fun Victor Salva research, I decided let's look in on her. Why does she only have 4 movies? Well, friends and listeners, I found an article from a little Swedish magazine called Terra. I'm sorry, I'm American. I don't know. Maybe it's Tara. Anyway,
Tara.
article from January 2004.
Okay.
She made only 4 movies, and she was married to the producer of The Vampire Happening.
Oh, so he's the person who involved the wife, maybe.
Yes, that's exactly what Freddie was alluding to. Pia only made 4 movies because she suffered from ADHD, anorexia, drug abuse.
Oh boy.
She lost parental rights twice.
Oh jeez.
The one child that she had with this producer, and then later on, she also spent time in a Swedish prison for fraud, drugs, and assault of a civil servant.
Wow.
So
Damn.
What a set of tits, am I right?
So if you find yourself on a cold, wintry evening and you want to look up
Wow.
just a really not heartwarming story, find that Terror Swedish magazine from January 2004 and read the article
Ugh.
about her.
That's terrible. And of course, producer husband had no money to help her because he put it all on the screen.
He put it, he put it up his nose and with his other girlfriend, and yeah, like she had there. I can't remember the name of the movie. You can look it up. But the very first movie that she was in, like, won all kinds of awards in Cannes, and I think even the Sundance Festival somehow wasn't back then. It was
Yeah, I was under the impression that she was like a decorated, well-respected actress. But
No, 4
I
movies.
mean, she's to her credit, she's not bad in
no,
this.
she's
She
decent enough.
She had a
Of course, stunning looking.
yeah, she had a ramp that she could have gone up,
Wow.
but she hooked up with this guy and went straight. She
Just a despicable business.
ended up in America and enjoying drugs.
Wow.
Just like the creeper, she could have spread her wings and flown, but instead she got on a weird old truck and just broke down.
Yeah. But it sounds like she's enjoying making pillows and crocheting
Oh,
Oh,
that's
good.
lovely.
back in 2000
I'd like to buy that.
and trying to
one of
make
those.
with her sons.
Well,
Time for another break.
yeah, let's let's take a break and get ourselves out of this mess that we found this week. And we'll see you on the other side.
Is this the Empire Strikes Back of our season so far?
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. This
I
is
wonder
the
what
dark one.
fun movie will come up next.
All right, we'll be back.
Gee, Mommy, my first adult movie.
Okay, so let's get to it and figure out which of these movies eats the buckle, loses the contest, and has to stay in the ring for us to watch again. Because I have been told that the concept of this show might be a little confusing.
In week 12.
So I'm going to make it very clear. We are going to pick the movie that we liked the least. It is the loser of the round, and it stays in the ring because we're trying to find the worst movie ever made.
We're only announcing the loser.
So on the count of 3, we say which one we like the best, and then we announce the loser.
Wait.
No. On the count of 3, we announce the one that eats the buckle. God damn it.
Got it.
The loser eats the buckle and stays in the ring another week. Got it?
Crystal clear. I'm not a fucking idiot.
And we will watch it repeatedly.
We will watch it repeatedly until there's one left standing in an effort to find the worst movie ever made.
All right. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then go, or is it 1, 2, go?
Yeah, we'll do 1, 2, 3, eat the buckle.
All right.
Ready?
Ready.
1, 2.
Wait, who goes first?
We all say it
We
together.
say it together,
Oh,
as is tradition.
And then we'll defend our pick with a little
Okay.
summary of why we picked it. Now, are
All
you
right.
ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God! What is happening? There's something coming out from underneath the ring, and is that Madman Mars?
That's Madman Mars.
He's dressed like Santa Claus.
That's Madman Mars in a Santa hat. I've never seen it. He's getting in the ring, and he's got a Santa sack on his back. What's good? This is pandemonium.
He's got a sack full of goodies.
That's definitely Madman Mars. I'd recognize those bloated feet anywhere.
He's pulling out a chair. He just hit the referee in the head, and he's knocked out cold.
What's happening now? Vampire happenings, looking around, and here comes Dracula's helicopter to pick him up. Dracula's helicopter is lowering into the stadium.
I've never seen anything like this in my 12 weeks of doing this podcast. This is crazy. This is insane.
That man's got eyes only for Jeepers Creepers. Who?
Well, they're saying it's a disqualification. I can't believe it. The
Vampire happening has flown off into the night with Dracula's helicopter, and Madman is beating the shit out of Victor Salva with the metal chair.
He's stuffing him into a sack. Where is he taking him?
He's taking him to the shit locker. Oh, he's locking him in the shit locker, never to be seen again.
But look, Mad Manta Claus has left 2 items in the ring.
He's left us something to bring us together in this day.
That was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Can't believe that.
Who could have seen that or seen that happening?
Can't believe that.
If only our video would have been recording so we could share it with our listeners.
Well, I hope we announced it clearly enough for them to understand and to do justice to what we just saw with our own eyes. That was insane.
What are those 2 things that he left in the ring?
Well, let me get a clarification from the judges here. It seems like hold on. What did he leave?
In the meantime, can we talk about, did anybody see Martin run out from the back in his priest robes and hit a flying forearm off the top rope?
I missed that. That's
Dick was
crazy.
waggling around.
We were too busy looking at Justin Long's Mollusk tattoo.
It looks like in the ring is 2 movies, Christmas movies.
Oh no.
Rare Exports and Jack Frost.
Oh no.
And I'm getting word from the judges that Jeepers Creepers 2 has been disqualified. And
he left the ring.
Disqualified? What's the meaning of this?
By in-ring. He was in cahoots with Madman, and due to the interruption in the ring, it has been disqualified, hereby determining that Vampire Happening is the winner, and there is no loser this week. So we're free to, I guess, watch this Christmas blessing that has been bestowed upon us. And we're going to do a little mini tournament for the Christmas season in which we will watch 6 Christmas horror movies and determine which one is the worst of those. What do you guys think about that? I think this is what Santa Madman wanted.
I think that's just what we need.
I think this is a holiday war games in the middle of a battle royale now.
Yeah, that is what this is.
All right, I'm down for it. Thank you, Santa Madman.
Holy shit, this is insane! What a turn of events. So yeah, our next episode we will have 2 fresh Christmas movies, Jack Frost and Rare Exports.
Be sure to make some eggnog, fruitcake.
Yep,
and
all those things.
And most importantly, we will never, ever, ever discuss a movie made by a convicted child molester, pedophile.
Fuck that movie.
Anything of the like ever again on this podcast.
And
we'll try to vet our directors and
no, I think it's fair to talk about it, and I mean it is a horror movie, and I'm not glad I watched it, but I think it's worth talking about. And we just never have to watch it again. And fuck Francis Ford Coppola.
And fuck Vampire Happening.
So Vampire Happening, congratulations, you win by disqualification. There is no loser this week except for us, and we will watch 2 Christmas movies next week and save room for next week because you're gonna eat the buckle.
That's all for now, buckle buddies. Here comes Madman. Here comes Madman.
Later, everybody.
See ya.
What do you find so offensive?
All this, I think,